What's going on, guys? Bankrobber Games here, more Fallout 3, Tale of Two Wastelands. And last episode when we left off, we made our way over to Oasis to do the quest there. And it took a little while to get over here because we were very unlucky. You could say we had an 18-carat run of bad luck. And run into a bunch of albino rad scorpions. And just the wasteland was not our friend that day. So now, this episode we're just going to be carrying on with the Oasis quest. It's a really unique quest and ties a little bit into the other Fallout games, and it's got multiple choices for how you choose to complete it, and that will determine which rewards you get. So I'll make sure to run that through all that with you guys, so you know everything this quest has to offer basically. But at the end of last episode we took part in a ritual and passed out, and then that's where the episode ended. So now we're at the other side of that ritual, and basically just going to see what happens next. But if you haven't seen this quest before, I do recommend watching last episode. So a lot more of what we see will make more sense.
Glad to see you're finally awake. I can't believe they made you do that stupid ceremony. They listen when I talk, but they don't hear. You know what I mean? Neither have I. Well, I talked to Herbert, but he never really says anything back. Do you, Herbert? He kept growing around me. Maybe for calling him Herbert all the time. His name's really Bob. I think it's funny when I call him Herbert, though. Well, I suppose you could look at it that way. See, Bob used to ride around on top of my head. Sunk his roots right in there, you know? Well, eventually, he got bigger than me, and then I pretty much ended up inside.
So we do have this science check here, and it mentions something that is very important to the Fallout series, being the FEV.
Whoa! Check out the brain on this guy. It was a long time ago. I tend to lose track. I was exploring some sort of a military base with some other people. I think it was called Mariposa. We were pretty deep inside and we found some weird vats of this nasty green goo. Right when we were about to leave, I think we were attacked. Last thing I remember before blacking out, something knocking my friend into the stuff.
So, if you haven't gathered, this does tie back to previous Fallout games. I can't remember if it's Fallout 1 or Fallout 2, but there is a character in it that you can talk to, and he has a tree on his head, and this is obviously what ends up of him.
You have no idea how glad I am to hear that. Or we're glad to hear that. Me and Bob. I had you brought in here to ask a very simple favor. Would you please kill me? no. It wouldn't be murder. You'd be doing me a favor. You see, I've been stuck here for over 2 decades now, rooted right into the ground. The only friends I've got are Bob and those weirdos out there who think I'm a god. Oh, no, don't worry about them. When you decide to go down there, I'll have a little chat with Birch and the rest of the gang. They usually don't understand a word I say, but I'll make them come around. How to put this? I've been feeling rather spread out lately. I think Bob's kinda shoved my insides around some. It's hard to tell where everything is, but it's always that way with one's insides, isn't it? Anyway, I believe Bob's carried some of my organs into his root system. I want you to go underground and destroy my heart. Of all the Wastelanders I had to bump into, it has to be one with a conscience. Let's keep it an open invitation then. I don't want to wait until the next person visits. It could be years. Just think about it, okay? No. Herbert is the tree. Bob is his real name, but I call him Herbert because I think it's pretty funny. But I'm still in here too. What's left of me? The name's Harold.
So if you want to carry out Harold's wishes, you can attack him with a flame weapon. That will destroy him, but you don't want to do that just yet because there's some other options open to us. You can, if you don't want to be that cruel, shall we say, you can do what he says and enter the caves below, where you can see the objective there. But before then, we want to talk to Sapling
you're the outsider, huh? You seem nice to me. Just get born, I guess. You're funny.
And I think it's this option here. Tell me about your god.
Oh, you mean Harold? He's really nice. Sometimes when I get really lonely, I go into the grove and talk to him. Sometimes I even curl up all cozy-like and sleep next to his root after I have a bad dream. I tell him what I'm scared of, and he tells me what he's scared of. It makes me feel better knowing I'm not the only one.
And then, she's got quite a low speech check. Or you can use the Child at Heart perk, and it has the same result.
Aw, I never knew an outsider could be scared of anything. Harold told me that he's scared of fire. If fire ever got on him, it would burn him and Bob until they were all gone. That's why we keep the fires far away from him.
and then we can leave talking to Sapling You. Something to point out that is, if you attack Harold or Herbert or Bob with a flame weapon, it will make the entirety of Oasis hostile to you. So if you want to avoid that, I wouldn't, I'd carry out his wishes rather than just sending him there. But in talking to Sapling You before we complete the quest, we have access to a unique item that gives our character a permanent buff.
And I'm telling you, you've got it all wrong. Why else would he have called for an outsider's assistance?
The outsider is here to deliver us from our enemies, to keep this place safely locked away from the wasteland, not to exploit us.
How can we preach about peace when all you want to do is keep his gift all to ourselves? That's not what he would want.
If we allow the spread of this miracle to continue, we're putting him in jeopardy. I can't allow that. I won't allow it.
Once again, my husband, we are at an impasse. I suggest we speak to the outsider.
Agreed. Why else would the outsider have been allowed into the grove? Perhaps it's a test. Yes, that must be it. I know why you're here, and despite what my wife thinks, I know you'll do what's best for Oasis. After all, he chose you, and he would never want to put us in harm's way. Oh, he's testing you now, just like he tested us. He wants to see if your faith is strong by spinning these incredible stories. Who else but a god could produce all of this? Don't worry, you'll soon see things as I do. Yes, I've been pondering that riddle myself for some time now, and I think I know what he's trying to tell us. The Great One's influence is growing, and soon it will break free of the confines of this secluded vale. We can't allow Oasis to call attention to itself like that. It would be the end of him. If the same sap that you drank to purify yourself could be applied to his heart, it should stop the spread. I can promise you no harm would come to him. That's all I ask of you, outsider. Nothing more, nothing less.
I love Birch, but sometimes I think he doesn't see the big picture. The spreading of his influence is not a curse. It's a great miracle, a benefit meant for the entire wasteland. Of course we do. He yearns to share his miracles with the whole world, to give the gift of life back to the dead wasteland. It's upsetting him to no end, but Birch can't see the pain it's causing. But now that you're here, I have a feeling the winds are about to change. I heard what my husband wanted you to do. What I propose is an alternative. The same person that created the sap also created this liniment. If you can reach his heart, it will assist him in making his influence increase. Instead of centuries, the wasteland will become green in mere decades. Just imagine how glorious that would be.
So yeah, it's pretty clear cut the options we have here. And I'll run through all the rewards.
There's nowhere like this left in the world anymore, eh, outsider?
Yeah, I'll run all through all the rewards when we get over to Harold's Heart. We do need to talk to...
Branch Tender Cypress at your service. Welcome to our little home.
And, yeah, just ask for the key.
Sure. Here you go. Good luck to you. May you remember...
Yeah, it's a fairly standard cave system. Just got some Mirelurks in it. I think you can be told about the Mirelurks if you talk to Sapling U and ask her about the caves. Yeah, most of the enemies aren't that high of a level. Again, they shouldn't pose too much threat to you. I don't think I've ever had any like hunters. They've all just sort of been standard Mirelurks. I'm not sure if there is any sort of loot. Medicine book there. And I want a stealth boy. Some quite useful loot. Has been a very long time since I did this quest. There's another like sinkhole type area. There is that mini nuke underneath it. But other than that, I don't think it's got anything sort of worthwhile. But yeah, the whole quest does remind me quite a lot of what happens in the Point Lookout DLC, and how the tribals revere Calvert as like some deity when he's really isn't. But here we can activate Harold's Heart, and this is where we can determine what our rewards are. So if we apply Birch's sap to stop the growth, we get a missile launcher and a piece of armor. I think it's the Oasis, like people's armor. And then if we put the liniment to accelerate Harold's growth. We do get some unique Outcast power armor, Brotherhood Outcast power armor, and I think it's got slightly different skills to it, but it looks the same as regular Outcast power armor. And a sort of hood that's again, I think it's the Oasis people's hood. Or if we do what Harold asks us and destroy his heart, we get the bark skin perk, and this should improve our damage resistance. So overall, I think that is the best decision. I think morally, carrying out Harold's wishes and doing what he's asked of us, I think is only fair, because he's quite clearly in a lot of pain. Whereas these other people aren't actually listening to what he wants. And I think destroying Harold's heart is the way to go, and I think the perk is it's not that substantial, but it's the most worthwhile reward. And that's where we get the bark skin perk. Quickly look at that. And that's plus 5% damage resistance. So it's not that substantial, but every little helps. Along with the other minor damage resistance buffs you can get throughout the game, it does sort of add up. There's a nice boost to the quantum there, we'll make sure to pick up.
The Great One is dead, slain by your hand. Don't worry, I hold no grudge towards you. You'll have to forgive my people at a time like this, outsider. They aren't used to being so lost. And for once, I don't have the words to help them. Before you reached his heart, he imparted his last words to me. He told me about his will to die and how I mistook this for some mystical sign. How could I have been so blind? How could I have misled all these people? Perhaps, if I would have spent more time getting to know him, things would have turned out different. Even though the Great One has left us, our memories of him will never die. With Bloomseer Poplar's help, I'm confident we can keep Oasis alive and carry on as tree minders. Go now, outsider. Go, but never forget the gifts the Great One bestowed upon us.
So that is the Oasis quest completed. Overall, it is actually quite a short quest, but very, very cool. Like I said, it's very unique location, very different from the rest of the Wasteland. And although Harold isn't with us anymore, I think it's quite nice to have a quest that doesn't just end in, a lot of, in typical Wasteland fashion, shall we say. After the quest is completed, if we talk to Sapling U, we should be able to get another additional reward.
Hey, my second best friend in the whole think you're pretty swell for someone from out there. And you were really nice to me too. I was gonna give this to my bestest friend Harold, but he doesn't have pockets, the silly head. This is a charm that my parents gave me for my 5th birthday. It's really neat. Take it. Now that Harold's gone, I lost my bestest friend. All I want to do is cry. Goodbye, outsider.
Quite sad, really, but there is that use bear charm. It is just junk, but it does give us. I don't know if it comes up as a perk actually. I'll have a quick look to see if it comes up as a perk. Bear with me. So I can't see it coming up as a perk, but with that use bear charm, we do have a permanent +10 to our speech skill. Not the biggest buff in the world, but definitely worth it. Doesn't do any harm. Now, I don't think you need to keep the bear charm on you. In order to keep that bonus, I'm pretty sure it's just a permanent bonus. I was going to end the episode here, but you might notice we have some red compass marks along with something that we haven't actually seen before. That's because after you complete the Waters of Life, not Waters of Life, after the Enclave make it to Project Purity and take over it from your dad, Enclave will go out into the Wasteland and set up stations.
Target locked.
And you will run into them.
Assaulting.
As you can see, some of them are pretty tough. Did not mean to do that. You know, the little eyebot in the background there, which is also hostile now, seeing as they do sort of work for the Enclave. These guys had the Hellfire armor on them, which was added with the Broken Steel DLC. As you can see, very high damage threshold in Taylor 2 Wasteland, but it also has a very high damage resistance. It is probably the best power armor in the game. The stats on it are pretty decent as well. The fire resistance isn't the most useful stat, but that +1 strength and the +15 radiation resistance is very, very good. And again, you get some fire resistance and radiation resistance on the helmet, but you do suffer with the -1 charisma with it being Enclave armor. Very, very good set of armor. I definitely recommend picking it up if you like wearing power armor. Looks like we have some more company. Generally speaking though, there's always a decent amount of loot in the area where they set up their bases, and they always tend to be near locations of interest. You know, these guys are near Oasis. think that might have just been a vertibird flying overhead. Before we wrap this episode up, I am just going to go over to the Regulators HQ to hand in all the fingers we've got, just because there are a lot of them on us, because I haven't turned them in for a very long time.
The regulators welcome you back. Well, it's about time someone put that bastard out of his misery. And here's the reward for it. Spend it well, Lawbringer. The unrighteous will fall. Let me see how many you've brought to justice. So many of the unjust have been dispatched, but so many remain. But ever still, word reaches me that you have gone far beyond what we've asked. Good deeds should not go unrewarded, and so I will add on a bonus to your normal bounty. Stay righteous.
How many of your children?
There's a lot of, we did have a lot of fingers, and then you do get a bonus for when we took out Jonda's Plunkett, and that was in Arlington Cemetery. Over here, where we picked up and it's in the same building where we picked up the Luck Bobblehead. I might also head over to Arlington Library very quickly. And then that way we can turn in any of our pre-war books, because we should have quite a few of them on us as well.
If you have any pre-war books, I'll take them. Welcome back. Have you been... Excellent. Very well.
Just a couple of them on us, not as many as I thought. But looking at how long this episode has been, I think here's a good place to wrap it up. And yeah, I do quite like the Oasis quest. I do think it's, like I said, a very unique location. I do wish it was a bit longer, and maybe some of the choices that were open to you were a little bit more difficult to discover. But thank you very much for watching this episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed it and been enjoying the series so far. If you have been enjoying the series, please like and subscribe for more, and then that way you won't miss out on anything. Also, any mods that I've mentioned throughout the video will be linked down in the description below. I don't think I've mentioned any this episode, but there'll be something down there for you guys so you can try it out for yourself. Thanks again for watching. I always appreciate having you guys here, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode.